Tired of waiting for motivation that never comes? Stop chasing sparks and start building fire. In just a few minutes, you'll discover how tiny daily actions, just 1% improvements, can turn you into an unstoppable force. Watch till the end. Life is not changed in a day. It is transformed in moments, in choices, in the small steps we take every single day. Too many people look at their goals, a dream body, a thriving career, mastery of a skill, and feel overwhelmed. They see the mountain instead of the first step, the end result instead of the tiny progress that leads there. And so, they procrastinate, wait for the perfect moment, or search for motivation that never lasts. Here's the truth: the key to massive success is not in giant leaps. It is in the 1% improvement each day. One page of reading, one push-up, one extra minute of focus, repeated consistently, compounds into astonishing results. Imagine improving by 1% today, and 1% tomorrow. By the end of the year, you aren't 365% better, you're exponentially stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. This principle is deceptively simple, yet profoundly powerful. The human mind craves visible results, so it often ignores the microscopic wins that seem insignificant at first. But the beauty of compounding effort is that small changes silently accumulate, creating momentum that suddenly feels unstoppable. The person who reads a page a day may seem slow at first, but after 1 year, they have consumed 365 pages, the equivalent of several books. The person who improves their skill for 10 minutes daily may feel it's trivial, but in a year, they have amassed hundreds of hours of deliberate practice, moving closer to mastery than most ever do. It is not about speed. It is not about comparing yourself to others. It is about consistency and patience. Every day is a chance to cast a vote for the person you want to become. That small effort, invisible to the outside world, is your investment in the future. Think of it like planting seeds. Each tiny effort is a seed, watered and nurtured daily. The results are not immediate, but eventually, a forest grows. The 1% rule teaches us another invaluable lesson: progress is never wasted. Even when life feels chaotic, when setbacks occur, and when the world seems to be moving faster than we can keep up, the small improvements we make accumulate quietly. They build resilience, competence, and confidence, traits that are invisible today but unstoppable tomorrow. The person who focuses on small daily gains is not swayed by sudden failures, because they understand that growth is measured over the long term. But how do we implement it in daily life? The answer is deceptively simple: start ridiculously small. Want to get fit? Begin with 1 push-up. Want to learn a new skill? Study for 5 minutes. Want to improve productivity? Organize 1 corner of your workspace. These tiny steps feel trivial, almost laughable, yet their power lies in consistency. By starting small, you eliminate excuses. You remove the intimidation factor that paralyzes most people. You build a foundation so solid that larger actions naturally follow. The human brain loves momentum. Once you start, even the tiniest action triggers a sense of accomplishment. That sense becomes fuel for the next action, and the next. Soon, what began as 1 page of reading turns into 2, 3, then more. What began as a single push-up becomes a series of exercises. Momentum compounds like interest in a bank account, quiet at first, then exponential, unstoppable. Equally important is tracking your progress. The 1% rule works best when you are aware of your tiny victories. Check off your small wins, journal your improvements, and celebrate progress quietly. These small acknowledgements reinforce habit formation, building a psychological foundation for continued success. Without recognition, even the tiniest effort may feel pointless, and humans are wired to crave visible signs of accomplishment. Finally, the 1% rule teaches patience and humility. Great achievements do not appear overnight. Success is not a sudden explosion, it is the quiet accumulation of effort, day after day, often unseen by others. Embrace the process. Respect the incremental journey. Trust that if you remain consistent, the results will arrive, often when you least expect them, and in a form far greater than you imagined. This is the essence of the 1% rule: small, deliberate, daily improvements that build unstoppable momentum over time. One day, looking back, you will realize that the person you have become is the product of tiny decisions made consistently each day, each effort, each 1% improvement. And that realization, more than any sudden breakthrough, will make you unstoppable. Now that we understand the power of tiny improvements, the next step is learning how to apply the 1% rule consistently in every aspect of life. Success, mastery, and personal transformation are not reserved for the gifted or lucky. They are built by those who commit to incremental growth, day after day, without seeking instant results or recognition. To harness the power of the 1% rule, begin by focusing on one area where improvement matters most. It could be health, knowledge, productivity, or relationships. Trying to improve everything at once is overwhelming and often leads to frustration and burnout. Instead, choose a single area, set a tiny goal, and commit to making a 1% improvement daily. For example, if your focus is fitness, 1 extra push-up, 5 more minutes of running, or choosing a healthier snack is enough to start. If your goal is knowledge, reading 1 page or learning 1 new concept each day may seem insignificant, but over weeks and months, it accumulates into a formidable library of wisdom and skill. The key is consistency, not intensity. Big goals are intimidating. Climbing a mountain is far more achievable if you focus on each step, rather than the peak. The 1% rule works because it allows you to break down overwhelming objectives into microsteps that are manageable and measurable. Instead of saying, "I want to write a book," say, "I will write 100 words today." Instead of, "I want to get fit," say, "I will do 1 set of push-ups." These microsteps remove mental barriers, eliminate excuses, and build confidence. Each completed step, however small, reinforces your commitment and fuels momentum. The magic of the 1% rule lies in the compound effect. Small improvements don't produce immediate fireworks. Instead, they quietly accumulate over time, eventually creating dramatic, life-changing results. Consider this: improving by 1% each day for 1 year doesn't just make you slightly better, it multiplies your capabilities exponentially. This principle applies not only to skills and habits but also to mindset. Small daily practices, such as reflecting for 5 minutes, practicing gratitude, or meditating, can reshape your brain and emotional responses over time. Incremental improvements in thought patterns, focus, and resilience compound into an unshakable foundation of strength and clarity. A critical insight from the 1% rule is that results are byproducts of consistent systems, not fleeting effort. Most people obsess over results and become discouraged when progress seems slow. However, if you focus on creating reliable systems, daily routines, habits, and disciplined schedules, the results will inevitably follow. For example, instead of fixating on losing 20 pounds, focus on the system. Exercise 20 minutes each day, prepare healthier meals, and track your progress. Over time, the weight loss will happen naturally. Systems remove the pressure of instant gratification and allow your efforts to compound silently in the background. Progress is rarely linear. There will be days, weeks, or even months where improvements feel invisible. This is normal. Plateaus are part of the process. The 1% rule teaches patience, the recognition that every small effort is still a step forward, even if immediate results aren't visible. During plateaus, focus on the process, not the outcome. Trust that cumulative effort, no matter how small, is reshaping your capabilities. Like water wearing down rock, daily action erodes obstacles, creates resilience, and builds momentum that eventually bursts through the plateau. To maximize the 1% rule, track your actions and reflect regularly. Awareness creates accountability. Journaling, habit trackers, or even simple checklists help visualize progress and reinforce the power of tiny improvements. By noting what you've accomplished, even the smallest steps, you cultivate motivation, confidence, and a sense of control over your growth. Reflection also allows you to identify areas for adjustment. If a tiny step isn't producing forward movement, tweak it. If a habit strengthens your momentum, expand it. The key is iterative growth. Small adjustments compounded over time lead to massive transformation. The beauty of this principle is its universality. The 1% rule can improve physical health, mental clarity, professional skills, relationships, and emotional intelligence. Tiny daily actions in every dimension of life create ripple effects that amplify your overall success. One extra push-up, one page of reading, one small organizational step, one kind gesture, all these seemingly minor actions add up, building a life of competence, focus, and resilience. When applied consistently across multiple dimensions, the cumulative effect is profound. You don't just improve in one area, you evolve into a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. Finally, the 1% rule is more than a technique, it is a mindset. It teaches humility, patience, and resilience. It replaces the need for constant motivation with the quiet power of consistency. Over time, these small daily choices build confidence, self-reliance, and unshakable determination. You stop chasing results and start embodying growth. Every day becomes an opportunity to reinforce identity. You don't just aim to be better, you become better, incrementally, invisibly, inevitably. One day, you'll look back and realize that the person you are today is the product of countless 1% improvements, each seemingly small, each seemingly insignificant, yet together forming an unstoppable force. The 1% rule is not a gimmick. It is a principle that underpins every great achievement in history, from athletes to entrepreneurs to artists. Its power lies in simplicity, patience, and consistency. Start small, stay consistent, track progress, and trust the process, and you will transform your life beyond imagination. Remember, every giant leap begins with a tiny step. Every unstoppable journey begins with a single, deliberate action. Every 1% improvement compounds into extraordinary results. Subscribe my channel.